I'm very glad that I discovered the app. It has a lot of questions, PYQs and everything. It gave me a good idea about which topics I was good at, which subjects I was good at, and which subjects needed more attention. It really helped me a lot during my preparation. Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Muhammad Mustafa. I graduated from Perm State Medical University in July 2023. I gave the FMGE exam, which was held on 20th January 2024, and I scored 187 marks in it. I'm really happy about it. I am very grateful for everyone who supported me during this time, and it was a very overwhelming experience. These past 6 to 7 months were very chaotic. A lot of things were going on in my life. There were lots of ups and downs. There were lots of self-doubt, whether I will be able to clear the exam or not. Even 3 or 4 days before the exam, in fact even just a day before exam, I was not sure whether I will be able to clear the exam or not. It was a very different experience, something I had not experienced before overall, but I'm still very happy and I'm very glad that I've cleared the exam. I was already a doctor in Russia, but finally I can practice as a doctor in India. And I'm very grateful to everyone who supported me during this time, and everyone, my parents, my friends, God Almighty. I'm very happy. I feel very happy about it. And it was quite something else. After coming from India, I had gone to Gautam Nagar in Delhi, where I joined a coaching class. We were there for 4 to 5 months over there. 4 to 5 months, our portion had completed around 2 months before exam. So during my coaching days, I was quite confused which source to follow to solve MCQs and grant tests and everything else. Because the thing is, no matter how much you study, no matter how much revisions you do, if you do not solve MCQs, then it would be very bad, and there is a very high chance that you may not be able to clear the exam, or you may just pass with the fraction of marks. Because reading texts and revising them is one thing, but solving them is a very different thing, because you have to know and you have to understand that what you have studied is quite different than what the examiner asks you in the exam. This is especially true for a lot of clinical questions, because since the past 2 years, most of the questions asked in FMGE and even in NEET PG, they have become quite clinical. Because earlier they used to ask simple one-liner questions, but like for example, what is the investigation of choice, or what will be the drug of choice, etc, etc. But nowadays they ask the same question, but they ask it in a very clinical format. So for all this, I was very confused which source to follow, because there were many apps online and there were many books, guides, etc. But in the end, after some recommendations, I discovered Pre-PG app. I was able to get a 15-day trial after recommending the app to some of my friends. And after using the trial version, I really liked the app. The overall experience was very good, and then I became a premium user of the app. And I'm very glad that I discovered the app and I used it specifically for my preparation. It has a lot of questions, PYQs and everything, but the most important or the most beneficial thing which I found for myself was the Prep DNA and the Insights option. It is basically like, when I continued solving my questions, it gave me a good idea about which topics I was good at, which subjects I was good at, and which subjects needed more attention, which questions and which topics were my weaker points. And it really helped me a lot during my preparation. it gave me a good idea that about what should I focus more on, and which subjects were strong during my preparation. The other feature which I really liked was it also had a feature where it showed all the mistakes which I had done in the past 72 hours. So I used to solve questions every day, around 50 questions during my initial days. So the next days it showed all the questions that I had done incorrectly the previous days, and then I solved these questions again, read the explanation, and in this way it helped in revision, which was quite helpful, especially in subjects like microbiology and pathology, where there was a lot of mugging needed to do. So that also helped a lot. And during the last 1 month, I used to solve around 80 to 100 questions per day. So yeah, it was a good experience. I really liked the app. The prep DNA was really nice. And even the flashcards as well. So yeah, it was a very good experience, and I feel very, very happy right now. These past 6 months, it was really like a roller coaster, and I cannot, it is not possible for me to describe on a video or on a message how all these days were for me. But I'm glad I'm finally done it, and I'm really happy and really, really grateful to everyone, to everything. A lot of people had asked me, my juniors also, that what did I do, or what schedule did I follow, and how did I prepare for the exam. So since it was my first attempt, so what we used to have coaching classes from usually from 9 a.m. in the morning till 7 or 8 p.m. in the evening. Sometimes we even had 12-hour classes. So after that, I used to come home, read as much as I could about the topics we had studied, and I usually tried to solve as many MCQs I could before I went to sleep. There were many days where I could not revise anything or even solve anything because I was really tired because of the continuous classes, but I usually tried my best to solve many questions as possible. This went on, and during the last 40 to 45 days when our classes were over, and then when we were just doing self-studies, I tried to study as many topics as possible, and used to solve MCQs. And it was the usual timing for solving MCQs were early in the morning when I used to wake up. I used to wake up every day, drink coffee, and then solve around 50, 60, 70, 80 questions, as many questions as I could, or the MCQs about the topics which I had studied the day prior. And then after solving all the questions, I used to review them, what mistakes I had done, read the explanations, and the next day I used to solve the incorrect ones, incorrect questions as well. So yeah, so it was quite good. And during the last 30 days, I focused more on solving questions as well as revision. If I'm not wrong, I had solved around 5,000 to 5,500 questions on pre-PG. I had given 4 grant tests. The first 2 were quite okay. I had scored less than 150 marks, but the last 2 grant tests were quite good, and I had scored satisfactory marks. It was good. So yeah, so to anyone watching this, and to anyone watching this for guidance, I would highly recommend everyone to revise as many topics and revise as much as they can, because revision is the most important thing. I would recommend at least minimum of 2 revisions, at the bare minimum 2 revisions. This is crucial, and solve as many questions as possible, especially giving grant tests, because grant test is not about solving questions, but it is about sitting for 5 hours, 2.5 hours in the first part and 2.5 hours in the second part, because during the second part there is a very high chance that you may get fatigued. So yes, this is why I would suggest and highly advise everyone to practice as many questions as possible, to revise as much as they physically can, because you really, really need to give your very best. Earlier, some years ago, they used to say that FMGE is just an easy exam, asking one-line questions, and that's it, asking repeated questions, etc. But this is not true anymore. The level of questions has become significantly difficult these days, and even our exam was not quite easy. Part 1 was okay, but part 2 was quite difficult during my exam. Even while giving the exam, I had this moment of uncertainty whether I will pass or not. Even after coming from the exam, I was not confident whether I would pass or not. I knew that I had done many questions right, but I still wasn't sure due to the difficulty of exam. I but I'm quite grateful that I was able to clear the exam, and the sole reason was my hard work, the blessings of my parents, the God Almighty, and yeah, the hard work. It really paid off. It really did paid off, because you have to, you really need to just read and revise as much as you can. You have to solve as many questions as you can, specifically the clinical ones, because there were many times that I had studied a topic for 2 or 3 hours, and after some time I gave the test, but I gave test on the app, and I was still able to get many answers wrong because I could not understand what the question was asking, or I marked the wrong option because I got confused. So yeah, you really need to give your best, revise as much as you can, and solve as many questions as you can, and I'm pretty sure you will be able to clear the exam. And yeah, that's it, that's about it. I'm really happy. I cannot really express my happiness. I would really like to thank everyone who supported me, the Pre-PG app, the Pre-PG team. Thank you so much. And the next target for me would be NEET PG, which I will be giving next year, and hopefully I'll again be using Pre-PG as my go-to source for solving MCQs for NEET PG. I wish all the best to everyone, to all my juniors and all my friends who could not clear the exam. I wish everyone all the best for the exam in June 2023. I wish every one of you passes the exam, and I really hope and wish that every one of us become doctors, make our parents proud, make our community proud, and just be happy and fulfill our dreams. Thank you everyone. Thank you Pre-PG. Thank you so much.